Hey, what's up, guys? It's Renaldo here. So I'm assuming by now that everybody has watched the entire sitting of the Q&A between Trump and Ramaphosa. So I'm not going to snip clips and show it and try and speak over it. I'm just going to give you my analysis of what I think happened, right? So firstly, Cyril was embarrassed. I think that this is probably up there with Zelensky. Obviously not as confrontational, but just the fact that the United States president and the vice president had a video ready to play, and Cyril Ramaphosa did not look at that video once. Not once did he look at the TV to see what it was all about. It was Julius Malema singing Kill the Boer over and over and over again, him talking about slitting the throat of whiteness, him saying white people are crybabies. Then they showed the cross monument, and they also showed where the Buddha put all of those crosses along the highway together, and then Cyril Ramaphosa asked, where's that? I haven't seen, the only thing that was missing is Cyril Ramaphosa saying that he was shocked. That's the only thing that was missing. And then, of course, the fact that when confronted with all of this evidence, including a pack of news articles that talk about farm murders and the race-based laws and all of that, the fact that nobody countered that argument, the fact that Cyril couldn't really give an explanation, and when given the opportunity, and this is important because I want to focus on this, when Cyril Ramaphosa handed over to his Minister of Agriculture, John Steenhuisen, who's also the leader of the Democratic Alliance, there was the golden opportunity for the Democratic Alliance, the DA, to finally drive the wedge into the heart of the ANC, to showcase government failure over the last 30 years. John Steenhuisen was sitting there having the ear of the two most powerful people in the world. And what did he do? He defended the ANC. He defended his GNU partner. And he said that you have to understand there's a lot of things at play here. So, once again, the DA had an opportunity to tell the most important person in the world, the most powerful person in the world, what's happening in South Africa. And instead of that, he defended Cyril Ramaphosa and the ANC government. I'm suspecting that the DA is going to bleed voters. And I get no joy in it. I just don't understand what's happening with the DA. I've said this time and time again. And this is not me making it about the DA. I think everybody watching this thought that John Steenhuisen would use that opportunity to talk about the failures of the ANC government, because that is what the DA has been talking about non-stop for the last 30 years. And yeah, when given the opportunity to do so, instead, John Steenhuisen and the DA defends Cyril Ramaphosa and the ANC government. We know now which hat John Steenhuisen loves to wear, and that is a minister within the GNU rather than the leader of the Democratic Alliance. That to me was the biggest mistake of the evening. And of course it would be the DA, and of course it would be John Steenhuisen, because with everything going on, with Cyril being such an easy target, nope, let's defend Cyril. I mean, I'm speechless. I'm absolutely speechless. And this is somebody that was a councillor for the DA. This is somebody who was briefly a member of parliament for the DA. The DA of 7-8 months ago is not the same DA we have in front of us right now. That's all I can say. Because the DA that I was part of before I was kicked out, to some extent, had balls. There's nothing of that sort, unfortunately. Also then, Ernie Els and Johan Rupert, that spend most of their time overseas. Shame on you. Shame on you for not using this opportunity and telling the president exactly what's going on. Ernie Els talking gibberish about random shit. Johan Rupert, I mean, the funniest thing that he did was throwing the DA under the bus for crime in the Western Cape. I mean, that was fucking hilarious. Once again, Johan Rupert clearly does not have the faintest of ideas of how democracy works in this country, clearly. Because if he knew, he would understand that one of the basic functions is that the SAPS is under the control of national government. And the Western Cape in itself can try and get Metro Police and whatever officers that they want to train up, but ultimately the decision of the SAPS and how they get deployed is that of national government. So Johan Rupert, being a billionaire, and I'm very sure being a shrewd businessman and very well versed in business, does not have the most basic of understanding of how government functions. Because, I mean, it was cock funny to see him throwing the DA under the bus, but I'm defending the DA here and saying that's not the DA's responsibility. The DA relies on national government to provide enough SAPS officers. It's simple as that. But Ernie Els, gibberish, Johan Rupert not knowing what he's talking about. The one person that actually said something worth listening to was Ratif, and I tip my hat to you. Well done. You actually spoke the truth, and you spoke what your family and family friends are enduring in South Africa on a farm. So I tip my hat to you for that. Well done. Ultimately, Cyril Ramaphosa and his seat warmers were completely and utterly embarrassed. They didn't have answers. If you look at how much time Donald Trump spoke versus how much time Cyril Ramaphosa took to speak, it's like 85-90% Donald Trump. I don't know, 10%, 5% for Cyril Ramaphosa. Ultimately, it was a very embarrassing moment for South Africa and its government. But I do believe that South Africa will benefit out of this, because if the only thing that changes out of this is that there is a serious consideration towards the protection of farmers, irrespective of their race, and the Expropriation Act is limited, then it's a victory. In actual fact, if only one of those things happen, it's a victory. But I think that there's going to be serious pressure from the United States on South Africa with regards to the race-based laws, the fact that so many farmers are being murdered, and the Expropriation Act. Those three things I think is going to be massive, and perhaps broad-based black economic empowerment will be discussed. I'm assuming that's why Elon Musk is there, and that will happen behind the scenes. So if you are looking at this and you feel embarrassed or you feel shame for being a South African, it's not you. It's the government. And finally, the government has been called out on a national and international stage. This is what we as South Africans wanted, so that the ANC and the GNU now can be put in their place and understand that the rest of the world is not going to just stand by and listen to this cock being spoken day in and day out. They want to see change. Otherwise, you can forget about AGOA. The tariffs are going to increase, and you can bet your bottom dollar that South Africa's second biggest trading partner is going to limit their trade with South Africa. So they have South Africa over a barrel, and Cyril and his cabinet and parliament need to step up and make sure that they abide by it. And they're not asking ridiculous things. They are asking, protect your people. Don't discriminate against your people, and don't steal land and property from your people. Those are the three things that the government wants. And when I say government, I'm talking about the United States government. They want that for South Africa. And I'm sure that every single God-fearing and patriotic South African want exactly that. That you don't get discriminated based on your race. That you don't have to worry about the government stealing your land. And that you don't have to worry about the color of your skin on whether you get a job or not, or whether you have to give a portion of your company away. I mean, those are easy things, right? And then just protect us. All South Africans, protect us. And that is what you should take out of this meeting. There's a bunch of other things. I mean, it was a long Q&A session, but it's definitely South Africa eventually that will benefit from this, because it will show the ANC, MK, and the EFF that communist policies is not going to work if you want to do business with the United States. So the bad policies in expropriation, in the race-based laws, in broad-based black economic empowerment, that is in the spotlight now, and hopefully we can reverse some of the damage that's been caused by those policies, and it can be removed eventually in its complete and utter bullshit method in which it was implemented. And I also have to say a special shout out to Julius Malema. In actual fact, thank you for singing that song so many times with such vigor and such arrogance, because you are now on the world stage and your world has just gotten this small because of your arrogance and because of the hateful nature of who you are as a person. Thank you. You featured on the entire world radar because of the fact that you were so arrogant. And now, because of you singing that song and showing the world exactly how hateful you and your political party is, thank you. That's all I can say. I never thought that I would have thanked Julius Malema. I think he's a terrible person. He's a racist. He's hateful. But for exposing to the rest of the world what is actually going on in South Africa, I thank you. And that's pretty much all I got to say, everybody. I hope that I summarized it and that you can relate to it. Please let me know in the comments what was your best moment. My best moment, hands down, was when they just had the video ready. They had the video ready and they said, dim the lights, get your popcorn, we're going to have fun now. That was my favorite. My second favorite moment is when Johan Rupert just threw John Steenhuisen in the DA under the bus and talking cock, by the way, whilst doing so. I mean, that's hilarious. Let me know your favorite moment and let me know what you thought, whether this is good or bad for South Africa, whether Cyril was embarrassed or not. I'd like to know your feedback. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to smash that like button. Be sure to share this far and wide, please. That'll be greatly appreciated. And then also, if you support this channel and you support me as an individual, then please consider becoming a member. You can do so by clicking the join button below. And that'll cost you R39.99 a month. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Till later. Cheers and peace out.
You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I went my massacre. You don't even know me.